Hi, I'm Debbie Sue. I am the writer, director, and producer of America is Amazing Mom. So, America is Amazing Mom is a snapshot of a college student who is celebrating her birthday away from the Philippines for the first time. So, the inspiration was basically for when I moved over to America. I moved here about 4 years ago and it was really lonely. I noticed that whenever I'd walk through the grocery stores, I would see a lot of party sized, like huge bags of chips. And I'd immediately think that I could go home and share it with my whole family because there were five of us. And we would typically buy the biggest thing we could, which in the Philippines, the bags aren't very big. And so I wrote kind of a love letter to my family, even though the movie is a little bit sad, it is a love letter to my family, thanking them for giving me such good memories as a kid that I could be sad and miss them later on. I want them to remember what it was like to be in the comfort of a very loving, comforting family system. I feel like coming to a world that's very individualistic and it's very career based, you tend to lose sight of coming back to your roots, coming back to your family, and just enjoying being in a community that holds you up when you're not feeling well. I think at the start, the most challenging thing was because the film is about loneliness and about coming to a new city and coming to a new country without much support. I didn't have people to actually make this film with me. And so I was gonna be the one acting in it, and I was gonna have somebody hold a phone and just shoot me doing it. And it was actually really amazing how a bunch of people came together and have since then become really close friends of mine. And they became my crew, my DP. I didn't shoot on a phone, I didn't even act in it. I had all these friends who came through for me at the last minute. Yeah, I went to LACC, so Los Angeles City College, and it was my second semester, and I had just met people all around the department, so people in cinematography, people in sound class who came through and helped me. First off, I discovered that I like directing. So I came to LA to become a writer. I wanted to be a screenwriter and work in writers' rooms. And I even wrote, because so this film was for a directing class, and I even wrote in my directing class that I didn't want to be a director and that this was new for me and probably something I'd never want to do again. But when I started to actually make the film and direct it, I realized how much of a support system making a film actually does have. And that's when I fell in love with directing, and that's when I decided that I did actually want to become a writer and a director. My cultural identity impacts the way that I write by showing me what good a collective culture can give a person. So I feel like a lot of my stories have to do with someone who is disconnected from a community or has had to leave a community and eventually finds one, and it makes the journey so much better. And so my thesis is really that finding friends and finding a good community that can support you is the best way to reach your goals. I love FilAm Creative. I am so grateful that they were the first people to select my film. So I sent America is Amazing Mom to several film festivals, and FilAm Creative was the first one to accept it. And not only that, but when I came to the festival, it kind of raised the bar for all other festivals, and honestly, no other festival since then has come close. It's the first time I walked a red carpet and had photos, and it was just such a wonderful, warm welcome for my film. And also, since moving here, I haven't really connected to the Filipino community, and I feel like this was such a great place to meet everyone who was involved in the industry who was also Filipino. I always say that trust is the biggest currency in the film industry because I've done a lot of films that were basically built on people just trusting that the vision was going to be good, and that because we didn't have a lot of money, you just kind of had to trust that who you're working for or who you're working with is going to do something worth your time, basically. And I think that being friends with people on set is also very important because it does foster that trust. And hanging out outside of set is also very important. So if you feel like you can't do that with the people on your set, I feel like you should reevaluate the way that you look at the people in your crew.